Hi, my name is Brenda Titus and welcome to my video series, My Year Recovering from Retinal Detachment. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the 15th part of my series, and so if you haven't seen the prior videos, I definitely recommend that you go back and you start at the beginning because I am going through kind of every major step through the journey. Now, in this video, I am repeating some of the steps because we are now talking about the second retinal detachment that I experienced. So in this video, actually, as a reminder, this is all my personal journey. It's all not to take the place of any medical advice or input. If you have any concerns about having a retinal detachment, I definitely recommend getting medical attention as soon as possible. There is information in the comment section or the description section of the video below. So as we kind of begin this part of the journey, I don't know, I got an opportunity to do it all over again. And so, but I did really take advantage of everything that I had learned from the first retinal detachment surgery. So I understood, that all the different steps that would need to be taken into account. So we had to wait for all the authorizations. We had to go and get another medical check, which frustrated me because I said, but I just did this a few months ago, and they said that it was like literally right at the 6-month mark, and it is true for anesthesia. You need to be sure that you're healthy enough for surgery. So I do understand. I went through all the different steps to be sure I was safe for surgery, and we prepared for face down recovery again. So for this surgery, I had everything still ready or still available to me from my prior surgery. The pillows, I understood and remembered what was most helpful for me during the first surgery. And at some point, they did also say, well, they gave me a few ideas about my positioning. If it was really hard for me during the night, I could sleep for part of the night in the bed as long as I was more angled down as much as possible, but didn't have to be completely face down. So that actually did help a little bit. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes. Oh, and it says wait. We waited and waited. Now, this second surgery actually took place a lot faster than the first surgery. I think that there was a few factors going on. Obviously, understanding that now I only had, I had the eye that I was recovering from my first surgery, but it had only been 6 months. And so, I was really in very desperate need to get the surgery as soon as possible. The additional thing that I did to prepare for this surgery is I photocopied my calendar from the first 6 months. And it literally, it was almost an exact 6 months after the initial incident. And so I kind of marked the different time frames that I found significant through the timeline from the first 6 months. So how long before I started driving or returning to my physical therapy, how long it took for the bubble to dissipate, and how long before I went back to work. And that was helpful, I think, especially in really thinking about how long a journey it was going to be. And so that at least I could, decide how long before I would go back to work. And remembering that I think I went back a little sooner after the first surgery, and really not knowing what my vision would be like this time. And so I really took that into consideration with the second time. It was very hard to go and again take so many weeks off of work, but I just was very concerned about my recovery, what my vision was going to be like as I recovered, and all of those things. So those were a few things that I did do to take that into consideration. So it's partly why when I shared my earlier video about my recovery timeline, it was very deliberate to share that because I think it's helpful for people to really understand kind of what goes into the recovery and kind of what that timing looks like. So I hope that that's helpful for you. It was immediately helpful for me because I immediately had to use those notes to be able to prepare myself for the recovery from the second retinal detachment. So I think that that's the extent that I wanted to share. Basically from the time of my initial symptoms and getting the initial diagnosis until my second surgery, it was almost exactly 14 days. So it feels like so long, but yeah. But I guess that would be accurate. It took about 2 weeks to first get home from Europe and get diagnosed, get the authorizations all taken care of, and to get in my surgeon's calendar as well. And I was incredibly thankful when I did get that phone call that he could get me in that day, because with the way that retinal surgeries work, and then it was right around the time of a holiday, so everybody was backed up anyway, and otherwise I would have had to have waited a whole additional week. And so I was very thankful that it was only 2 weeks that I had to wait. So sometimes, waiting can be part of the recovery. I know either way, it helped me during that time to prepare and also to learn how to rely on the eye that was still recovering from the first retinal detachment as well. So just some things to be aware of as we continue on that journey. And again, I really appreciate you joining me for all these videos and learning about my journey. This one will probably be a little bit shorter just because there wasn't as much to share, but I just kind of want to be following through with every step along the way. And I hope that you're learning, and I hope if you're watching this and you've never gone through this, I hope that you never have to go through it. But if you are going through it, I hope that you're able to get some helpful information as we continue. I'll be talking about that kind of idea of the initial recovery from the second retinal detachment, as well then the idea of getting back to life and getting back to work in a couple of videos as well. So with that, I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye.